Welcome to Keep Sane. Today is episode 26. Pretty much what I feel like discussing today is something simple, just tattoos. Um, I, like many people, have tattoos, and one of the things that I'm still surprised by is that people still are like really confused or standoffish because you have a lot of ink. One here and there, not so much, but even then, like people still teach their kids whether they should or shouldn't get them, and yeah, I get it. If you have tattoos visible, it can be a way for someone to decide if they like you or not. And you don't never want to, especially when you're trying to start a career or whatever, you never want to lose an opportunity because of something simple as having you know, your college logo or whatever, or your favorite sports team or your favorite butterfly or whatever on your arm or, whatnot. But at the same time, I think it's really time for people to get with modern times. It's art. I mean, yes, you still see crappy works, but that's a crappy artist or someone who just has really bad taste. So in that case, you should be able to judge them. I mean, there's so much beautiful artwork. It's a shame to see that really horrible old school shit. Where they can do all the fine lines and detail, but I guess if you do like an 8-bit character like Mario or something, I get it. It has to be blocky and but for the most part, most things can be made into, better pieces of art. Although it can be expensive, so a lot of people do cheap out and get something. You know, but if you have to really nitpick the something that's going to be permanent, maybe you shouldn't get one. My general thing is, think about it. If you still like it after a year, like write down what you want. After a year, if it still sounds good, or maybe say 3 years or whatever, then get it. If you're the sort of person who makes a decision and instantly regrets it, then wait. And if you are the person who looks back and wishes you didn't do stuff, then don't get it at all. If anything, you should look at it like, well, I did it, so what? It's like a badge of honor sort of thing. Um, I have plenty of ink. It's not most of it's not complete. Um, I do trade work with an artist, and he's out of town, so I have to I have to go to him during the week to get it done for free. And I've been working uh, like a standard job after doing it, so his sight suffers, my arms and legs suffer from ink being done in a timely fashion. But with that said, I could pay someone else to do it, but why? I mean, I can get mine done for free. Well, again, at trade, so it does cost me some money. It costs me time and all that stuff. But you know, if I go get ink, it's not a financial thing. Um, which, to be fair, every now and then does cloud your decision to let someone use your arm like a canvas. And I did. I've let my arms kind of be the artist's whim. One of them, not the other. The other one wasn't done to my liking, and oddly enough, that artist is unavailable to finish it. So eventually I'll have it redone by somebody else or completed. And it's because I was trying to do trade work with two different artists, but I still get asked questions. Now, some people are really polite about it, and I'm honestly the biggest group of people that ask me about my ink are women above the age of 60, um, which I love. I really do. I think it's funny as all get out. Because even when I've gotten tattoos or sat when I was doing the work in the shop and was gathering information and all that, you'd see people come in and get ink, and there's a lot of women who are retired who are getting their first tattoo or near retirement getting their first tattoos. Um, it's amazing how many of them get addicted and you kept seeing them back in, but it's not something I think tattoos fall into something I think is one of those things where you either always wished you had one and you were too afraid because of what they used to mean and what they used to look like and everything else, what society used to look at them like. Um, And so they waited until it no longer mattered, till they reached those who give a shit years, or who cares years. And then they decide to do it, and they decide to be themselves, which is awesome. You have the other people who maybe all of a sudden see the artwork and everything else, and have changed, decided that it is something that they find beautiful and want to get it done. But like me, I've always wanted ink, always. Saw them when I was a kid, thought they were the coolest thing ever. Um, Always have been. I had designs that would play through in my head, and there's still designs I wouldn't mind getting, but I can't find. I'm not a good artist. I mean, I can Photoshop stuff, and I can, you know, if I can find something close enough, I could probably manipulate it to give it to an artist and be like, all right, this is what I want. But to make it from scratch from my head to paper, can't. I try to do that with one of my arms, and I let the guy take some freedoms, and I that guy was wrong with the other one, no problem, been great. That's the guy I still do work with, still great. Um, but I guess my point is when it comes time to talking to someone about tattoos, I get it. If you see the tattoo crawling up the neck and it's not pretty, or you see the ones on the face, or the tops of the hands, I haven't done. It's one of those things that I still like the concept of covering them with a long sleeve shirt, in case I'm at a funeral or something like that. I think I don't want, and if I want to hide it from people, it gives me at least an option. I'm not going to wear gloves just to cover hand tattoos. Not that I don't like hand tattoos, uh, but I think it's one of those things where it really eliminates the possibility of preventing hiding them. No different than ones up the neck, and I think some of the neck tattoos are really sweet. Honestly, I do. Not all of them. The generic spider web, or the standard tribal, I find boring to go up the neck. It's not unique. But if it's part of a large piece and it's crawling up, um, front of the neck not so much, but off to the side or around the back, um, stuff that can still be, if you really wanted to, could probably cover it with a collar. I think's awesome. Same with leg. I mean, all of it. If it's done well, it's good. I mean, I really don't recommend getting face, unless you go to an artist that specializes in doing people. You are most likely going to walk out of there with something that looks disturbing. I've seen way more horrible um, people tattoos. And what I mean by people is like, here's a portrait of somebody that I like, whether it's an actor, musician, child, parent, you know, whatever it is. They go get the work done, and it turns out just awful. So I don't recommend it unless they specialize in it. Check their portfolio, make sure you're happy with the work they do. That's the other thing. Don't go to one guy and be like, "Oh, I've got $100. Whoever will do it for $100 gets it." Save an extra 20 or 100 if you need, if you're doing a big enough piece, or if you're doing a really good piece. Find someone who, I mean, it may cost you a few $100s, but find someone who's good. Again, it's going to be on your skin. It's more expensive to get them removed, and it's more painful. So, find someone you like and just be patient with it. You know, I have I have one that I got at 18 that was cheap. It was done at somebody's living room. It scabbed like crazy. I mean, it's still brightly colored, but there's no detail to it. There's no finesse. It's something that I could do to somebody. Um, Roughly, you'd still have to, I guess, know how to set the tattoo gun and everything else. But the other thing is, if you don't get along with your tattoo artist, don't use them. Little known fact that tattoo artists, if they're good artists, can hide things into your tattoo, um, or they can purposely fuck it up. I mean, yeah, you can get mad and not totally pay them, but a lot of them are pretty good. If they're good artists, they can make it look mostly like it, but mess it up in a way. And even unintentionally, there's artists that can mess up something. My favorite one from an artist I know is adding an extra finger to a hand. My favorite revenge story is if you piss off a couple of tattoo artists I know, they will purposefully try to find a place, kind of like a Disney artist from the old days. They'll try to hide a penis or a penis and balls into your tattoo, um, which is funny to me. But yeah, rushing it to some, I mean, Professionals are professionals, but rushing someone or being rude to an artist, they're not going to give you good work. No different than don't be mean to the waiter or, you know, people who handle your food and things like that. It's kind of goes the same thing. If someone's going to take something that can permanently, mark you, no different. If you have an issue with sneezing or whatever, let them know. Give them an indicator so you don't screw up the tattoo. Because there's nothing they're going to be able to do. They can't white it out. It's not like drawing with pencil. I mean, you can't just erase that shit. I mean, you can work it into the design, but if it's something intricate that you really wanted, it's going to get messed up. Anyway, back to I totally tangented, but good information. Um, but tattoos, when it comes to people's interactions, please do me one major favor. Don't ask them what it means. If someone wants to tell you because they find it important, they'll volunteer it. If you just ask, "Oh, neat, where'd you get that done?" That's the most common issue and or common question, and that's fine because a lot of people, if they're interested, are looking for where they might want to go get their work done. So that's a common question. People with ink ask other people, think, "Oh, where'd you get that done? That's really nice." They consider artists. So if even if you're not considering it, it opens up the conversation. If they want to volunteer it, they will. I have there's nothing horrible about my ink, but there's some stuff that would make some people not like it if they pay attention, and nothing sexist. More, if you don't like, I guess violence, you wouldn't like one of my arms. Um, but anyway, it's historically accurate if it helps anybody. Um, but regardless of that, it's just one of those things. Don't ask me the meaning. It means something to me. You're probably gonna think it's dumb, or you're not gonna get it. Most commonly, you're not gonna get it, and you're gonna think it's dumb. And why waste my energy if you don't like ink and you don't like it? If you want to get to know me and then interpret what might means and ask me later, that's different. Ask me all you want and get to know me, and then if at some point you want to figure out what I did with all this stuff, then I'm happy to tell you. But if that's the first thing you ask, it'd be like I pretty much just tell people, well, it means something to me, and if people don't like it, it tells me something about them, and it's a win-win. And that's true. If you don't like me because I have tattoos, great. I don't want to talk to you anyway. I guarantee you we're going to have more than just that, not in common. Um, Here's another misnomer, and I'm not sure if I'm using that word right, but just because I have ink doesn't mean I ride a motorcycle. I have ridden a motorcycle. I've owned a motorcycle, not a Harley or a chopper, but a little hybrid bike, and got hurt on it and haven't owned one since. Um, Nothing permanent, but it was something enough that I was using it as temporary transportation when I couldn't afford to replace my car when I was young, so I got a motorcycle because I could get one for a few hundred bucks, in way better shape than a vehicle, like a full car. So I did that, and unfortunately I put it over and did some damage to my leg. But I've my leg's fine for the most part now. I'm just missing part of my kneecap. Um, yeah, fun one to take a knee. But I've had one, but it wasn't. Motorcycles aren't something that I have interest in. I don't. I don't. There's nothing about it that I'm all for. I mean, dirt biking is one thing I had interest in because I liked BMXing when I was younger. But I've never ridden a dirt bike, and now that I'm kind of beat up, I'm not sure I'd enjoy it because I've heard it's pretty harsh on the body. Um, but not that I'm going to be doing that anyway. So, but yeah, we're not all into bikes and choppers and all that stuff. If there's certain guys that have military tattoos. They're pretty identifiable. There's generally a few for each branch. Um, you know, yeah, it's just one of those things. Be open-minded with people with ink. I mean, it's no different than people with piercings. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I have a hard time with the people with the gauged ears and nostrils and stuff because, I can put on a t-shirt, I can even get my ink removed. I mean, I think you have to go through quite a bit of surgery to fix a messed up earlobe. Um, but that's their choice. I mean, whatever. If they want to, same as me having tattoos. If we want to look not old school white collar, that's our choice. Um, I don't think it affects anything I do in life. I can put on a long sleeve shirt. I can put on, you know, full length pants and not wear shorts, and you wouldn't know I have ink unless part of my arm peeks through my shirt sleeve. Um, and it's amazing how many people I meet for work and then meet me in like normal life and how much more ink they see that I have. Again, I'm not head to toe, I'm not covered, but I do have two full sleeves again, most not complete, and I have, a couple large pieces on my legs and but they're not like I don't even know if there's a term. Do they call those uh like legs? I don't have legs or I don't have pant legs or it's an interesting thing because I know, the full arm's a sleeve like a t-shirt, or like a dress shirt, you get the sleeves, but I don't think I've ever paid attention to people that have full leg pieces. You know, that's a funny thought. And I know some tattoo artists, and I know, and I like ink, but yeah, I don't pay attention. I don't get into the ideology and the culture, and I don't believe in getting behind too into any one thing. It's just because I find the more I do, it's not about me celebrating my ability to get ink and how much everybody needs tattoos, and I do it for me. That's it. And I realize some people aren't gonna like it. Um, my neither woman I've been am or was married to has a single tattoo, and I don't care. I mean, that's their choice. If they ever want to get one, that's fine. If they don't, I don't look at that. I mean, most people who know me forget I have tattoos. They've seen them so much, they haven't changed that, you know, they forget I have them until it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. What is on on your arm, or what's what's on your leg? I don't remember. You remind them. Here's a tip though. If you ever go hunting, um, full sleeves work pretty good for camo. Maybe not turkey hunting because they have good vision, but like deer, you don't really have to wear a full length sleeve if you have a sleeve because it's its own camo. Breaks up the pattern pretty good. Um, I only know that because I've worn camo t-shirts, just going hiking for scouting and stuff, and like I kept myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh wow, it looks like and I went, oh wait, I'm not wearing a long sleeve shirt underneath this. Um, not that I don't actually really hunt, but I've gone with my dad sometimes, and I like to go shooting. I love target practice. That's a blast. Um, Skeet shooting with a shotgun, fun, like extremely fun. Um, but yeah, going hunting. I don't want to gut it. I mean, I'd rather go to the store and buy it. I guess lazy like that, or too big of a wuss to gut them, or whatever you want to say. But I'm not a big hunter. I've gone hunting. I've worn camo. I've done airsoft, things like that. But and these all have nothing to do with the fact I have tattoos. I have tattoos because I like tattoos, and if you don't, just realize that's your choice. Doesn't say anything about it. Doesn't make you better or worse. Doesn't make me better or worse or different just because of you know ink. The only thing it does say is that I've spent more time and or money on having that than you have. Um, but other than that, just know most people do it for themselves. Don't worry about the meaning. If they want to tell you, just ask them where they got their work done. If they start yammering, they'll fill it in. If they don't, guess what? They don't want to discuss it. So all that for that little point. But hopefully you have a good day.